So, these are important terms. Yin and yang does not fucking do it. Soft and hard does not fucking do it. Because we're talking about honoring the masculine and feminine in each of us, but until the feminine is well articulated in and of itself, we will not be able to really honor it. Nobody has complained when I talk about families. We talk about the mother principle and the father principle. Mother principle is generally accepting, allowing, embracing, enfolding. The father principle is generally directing, demanding, exhorting. And so, but that doesn't mean it's man or woman. But people don't get all wrapped around the axle when we talk about it in terms of a family, although it's probably going to start happening in the next 10, 15 years. Well, we've got more and more. Now that identity is by choice, we don't just have gay. We've got more things than I can shake a stick at in terms of my identity. So people are going to say, well, that's not me. Well, we live in a wonderful world right now that allows individualization. The internet allows individualization. There are distortions of individualization when people only read news that conforms to their prejudice. That's the dark side of individualization. The positive side is we're learning to honor the individual. It's being done in superficial ways, and I'm going to offend somebody with anything I say, and missing some of the much deeper elements of becoming yourself, no matter what, which is our mission in this world. And what kills me is because people are in adolescence very lost about their identity, they are choosing and making irreversible choices about identity without really knowing who it is that is shifting his or her or its identity. Now remember, I'm still on Jill and Christy and them not agreeing. Okay, we're just to take you back again. So they really resist this. As a matter of fact, afterwards at lunch, Jill was railing on it, and Christy was saying, now that I've heard more about it, I'm starting to see it as a valid perspective, but not mine. That was a lot of work on Judith's part.
That's progress, yeah. It's good progress.
And Jen Stevens' part. So, at any rate, we've got this continuum. So, in this continuum, if this is the middle point, I'm kind of right here. I act out there in some ways, but I'm really kind of right here. It's interesting, the dads who are right here are most concerned about their sons becoming gay. I've worked with a lot of dads over the years. Why? Well, their own identity is uncertain to them. So we're gonna play with this for a minute. And I still, what is the main point I'm getting at? Honoring the feminine as the feminine in and of itself. I'm going there, but I want some depth in your capacity to deal with this with people in your life and yourself. Because we're terrified of the feminine in and of itself. It does not grab control. It can be controlled and not lose itself. It embraces, it enfolds. When an enemy army has occupied the city, first of all, the women are easily abused, but they are also the ones that develop empathy for the enemy. extreme. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just telling you how it is. It's starting to play its thing, so it's sometimes if I laugh, it stays consistent. So this feminine in and of itself can't be measured, can't be weighed. It's not more or less. It is a different order of things that need to be embraced in and of themselves. And our world is stuck on measured, more, bigger, better. We were going to go into the spiral dynamics, but my dear friend Ignacio has withdrawn, so my primary motivation to go into it is not here, but we will do it over time. For those of you that want to read a little overview in the Wikipedia or something about spiral dynamics, we are at level 5, which is basically mastery of the world. Obama was a step into 6. But I'm on this embracing the feminine in and of itself. Consistently, women who have been powerful in business have shied away from Sophia because they're terrified and threatened by it. The women who become powerful in business are the ones we've raised, who are well grounded in the feminine. Because Sophia does things that are disgusting to us men.
Like what?
They talk about the space and the importance of the space. They talk about the importance of reflecting your essence. And various other things that are disgusting to those of us who are insecure in our identities.
I think, were you all here when I talked about the Kevin Matthews show in the last time I was on? Okay, so I used to be the
Interesting.
Dr. Bob, the psych type on the, it was another, anyway, were you here or not? So at any rate, so
I don't think you've talked about it.
they had found one of these gay scales. And Kevin, who is a big hunter, fisherman, and buddy with Ted Nugent. You know, shoot 'em, kill 'em, stuff 'em, eat 'em, kind of Ted Nugent.
Don't stuff them in.
Men's men. Men's men. And I think it was Harry Tynowitz who was kind of in between. So they called me after having razzed Harry.
Well, you also got to get the demographic that he's speaking
Oh,
to.
so he was the top DJ in Chicago, men like 26 to 38 or 40 or something. Men's men working on their identity here. At any rate, they called me expecting me to join them in reviling Tynowitz. And I have to find out if it was really Tynowitz, who's on the radio with Mark Carmen. So one of you guys who's friends with Mark needs to
Check
tell
that
him I
out.
need to talk to Harry. So at any rate, so they expected me to join them in making fun of him. And I said, well, actually, sounds to me like Harry's the most secure in his masculinity and you folks are extreme homophobes. It was the last time I ever was on the air with them. To understand the insecurity of male identity and our denial of our need of the feminine and women will help you understand why. The one that really blew me away that Judith told me yesterday, I think she told you at the symposium, the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
That blew me away, but I want to know what country it was.
I'll have to look at my notes. I think it was either the States or the UK, but I'll look it up again. I think it was here.
We think so, but at any rate, but that lets you know the level to which the men have been threatened by women, and that what, if you don't
What's-
know the answer to my question, oh, the rule of thumb is you couldn't beat your wife with a stick any larger than your thumb.
It was a new law, and it was intended to limit the amount of violence. It was a good law at the time. English? Okay.
English.
It's either here or UK. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So they thought that was really progression, that you couldn't beat your wife
they were
with a
very
stick
proud
bigger than your
of
thumb.
the sensitivity of that law.
Yes, if she was property.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
right.
but the point is that the issues are very complex. There's nothing simplistic about them, but I want you to be able to advocate for the unmeasurable, the infinite. See, Freud talked about penis envy in women, but he did not talk about the terror of the vagina in men. So, I think I've finished my commentary on why it's so important that we stay with the masculine and the feminine, and that you be able to articulate that which is immeasurable, unweighable, unfathomable, which is the feminine, and highly threatening to our world. Because as we work towards a world that works for everyone, this is incumbent on us. We are now at a point where we can embrace all of humanity, its light, its dark, its possibilities, and the problems we will face on our way there. So, thank you.
No, I want you to take it, because that perspective is extremely important. It's extremely important coming from a man and really getting that. I want to keep him here, but if you can go with that. I want to keep you here for a second,
yeah,
Bob.
please,
So
okay.
I think he can
Thanks,
agree with
Mike.
that.
I'll join you in a minute.
The thing I want to say about it, I mean, there's many things. I want you to do a paired sharing, and then I want to get some more individual reactions to what we experienced, many of us, on Thursday. But the part that you just said at the end about how, it's, I can't, now I've lost it. It's not just like, oh, we need to honor the feminine because we need to honor the feminine. That in itself would be sufficient. But we need that in order for us to have a world that works for everyone. The masculine is more either or. Feminine is both and. And they're both good perspectives at different times, but we really need both. We need either or, and we need both and. The feminine is and with the waves, even that, we're both and. That's actually a feminine encompassing of the value of everything that brings it together in an integrated whole.